another Nostalgia Critic video to react to, in which something being Christmas! And as Nostalgia Critic would say, I'm pretty sure if he still says it that way, Christmas! And that's right, you read the title of which Nostalgia Critic video I'm reacting to, and it's something Christmassy that he's reviewing, Christmassy film and so on, and that being Home Alone. And seeing as how that not long ago this came out, and this being one of the first Nostalgia Critic Christmassy videos, and this came out on the last week of November. And because here's the thing. Yes, I haven't reacted to the Nostalgia Critic video of Commercials, which being Kingdom of the Commercials. Now that's a fitting name, because, they're, always, for Nostalgia Critic and Doug Walker, and, I have no doubt on him, always trying to come up with a good title for, whenever he does a Nostalgia Critic video about commercials, So that is a good name, a fitting title, Kingdom of the Commercials. So again, I haven't reacted to that yet, and I will get to that at some point, but it's not going to be for this month, okay? Just want to let you know. And besides, I didn't know when exactly to expect it, because I was really expecting the Nostalgia Critic video of Commercials, Kingdom of the Commercials. I was expecting and thinking that it was probably going to be, out on the last Wednesday of November, but no, because it came out the second to last Wednesday of November, and for the last Nostalgia Critic video for the month of November, and on the last day of Wednesday, they started Christmas earlier. Well, as if, we start Christmas, right after, boom, Halloween's over. Well, the fact we get some Christmas decorations even when Halloween is still going on, But, it was their decision, especially that goes to Doug Walker, starting, doing Christmassy reviews, around the end of November. So, no problem. If there are, the Christmassy films that he's chosen to review this year and for this December, and some certain ones that, he wanted to review and so on, if you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, and again, Home Alone being the first one that he's reviewed that's something Christmassy, and I think at this point, and I'm pretty sure, because someone in the comment section, stated this, that it seems like at this point, Doug Walker, as the Nostalgia Critic, has pretty much reviewed all of the Home Alone films. Yeah, it seems like it. And of course, now that we had, the current last Home Alone film, I think titled Home Sweet Home Alone, that came on Disney+. I'll be completely honest. I did do a review on it, and if you want to go check that out, but I'll be completely honest. I didn't think it was that bad, and probably, and brace yourselves, it is my favorite in the Home Alone franchise. I'm just saying, okay? Please bear with me. It's just my opinion. Look, I have no disrespect with, the original Home Alone. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a good film, and I respect that, but I'm not really a huge fan of the Home Alone films. But again, like I said, I respect the first, especially the first Home Alone film, and, for that matter, the franchise. I mean, pretty much the only Home Alone movie that's the only one that's really good is the first one, and that's a fact. But, for one thing, about the first Home Alone film, and for that matter, its sequel, the first sequel, I despise Kevin's entire family. I really do. And I think you know why. Because of course, you've watched Home Alone, you know how they act towards Kevin. I tell you, he never did anything to them. Why does he got to be so treated horrible. Why? It just, oh my gosh. Even, like, the adults, especially Kevin's uncle? Yeah, golly. Pardon my French, but it's true. You know, his uncle is just a huge dick. And it's true. So, yeah. But again, like I said, I don't disrespect the first Home Alone film. It is, you know, if not one of the top best Christmas films, like, you know, right there next to, say, Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story, The Polar Express, Elf, need I go on? So, yeah. I have no doubt about it that Doug, as the nostalgia critic, is gonna have a lot of positive things to say. You know, especially one of the best parts of the movie, you know, the two clerks, and, you know, and Kevin setting those traps in the house. And, you know, here's another thing. The only few characters that I've enjoyed in the Home Alone films, like, you know, in the first two, are Kevin, the two robbers, and also Ben Shovel's, like, you know, what's his face next door. Yeah, he was a good character too. Like, you know, Kevin thinks that, you know, he's a killer and such, but when, you know, he comes across him at the church and he goes up to Kevin, yeah, because he's a really nice and sweet guy, you know, and that conversation that they have at the church, oh, just a really good sequence, without a doubt, you know. And, you know, when he helps out Kevin and when, you know, his family comes to see him and, you know, waving at Kevin, oh, that was another good moment with that character, I tell ya. And no doubt about it, like, Doug is going to have some positive things to say about that stuff as well, you know? All right, so, and here's actually two more things I'd like to mention. Because after reacting to this, there's only going to be two more Nostalgia Critic videos that I'm going to be reacting to later this month. And because, as of this recording, a new Nostalgia Critic video has come out, and I'd like to try and react to that, hopefully this month, because apparently, okay, I mean, it is kind of a Christmassy film. Just a little, I guess you could say. I mean, you know, be perfect to watch around the holiday season. So I'd like to try to react to that, but, you know, I will wait and see what the next Nostalgia Critic videos for this month, what they're going to be, and what he's going to review, because if I hadn't said this before, you never know what Doug Walker, aka Nostalgia Critic, is going to review next. Like, yeah, I mean, sometimes he's given, like, a little bit of a tease and stuff like that. Like, when I reacted to Nostalgia Critic's review of the 2003 Peter Pan film, there was a tease for what he was going to review next, which being the live-action Little Mermaid film. So yeah, so he would occasionally do something like that, but not all the time, of course. So there's that. And one more thing, because when this came out, Nostalgia Critic's review of Home Alone, it might have been before or after, I can't remember now, because, well, recently, and as all of us should know, Macaulay Culkin got his Hollywood Walk of Fame star, you know, like, good for him. So, if Doug, aka the Nostalgia Critic, is going to mention this, you know, just have to wait and see, especially for me, you know, about to watch this / react to this for the first time. So, yeah. I mean, you know what, because usually, right before he would post a Nostalgia Critic video, he would do, like, a quick edit and mention something, like, I can think of, say, when doing the Kung Fu Panda films, at the very end, he mentioned about Kung Fu Panda 4 being announced, you know, something like that. So, you know, all right, so enough said. Let's see what the Nostalgia Critic has to say on the first Home Alone film. All right, again, I'm no doubt about it, he's going to say a lot of positive stuff about the first one. Yeah. All right, in 3, 2, 1, begin.
This episode brought to you by Chime, the award-winning app and debit card that can save you money today.
Now, this time, yeah, the intro's a bit short, quick in this. And again, no Christmassy intro, you know?
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. December. I better change.
No, by the time you uploaded this, it came out right at the end of November, as I explained.
Close, but totally off. Play the thing.
And we're already coming to this.
Well, I've talked about all the bad Home Alone movies. Might as well talk about the only good one. The truth is, I'm so hard on the sequels because I really do greatly enjoy the original film. Even if back in 1990, it didn't exactly get the best reviews. The response among critics was mixed, as many saw it as unbalanced between mean-spirited and cornily gimmicky. I disagree, but I can't say I don't know where they're coming from. This film does a lot of things that should not work, as proven not only by the lame sequels, but also the countless knockoffs that tried similar kid-centered slapstick.
I wasn't getting that vibes of Man in the House.
Admittedly, several forced cutesy moments. It does go back and forth between being aggressively harsh and aggressively kid-friendly. But I think the atmosphere, freshness of the idea, and genuine joy felt from the people making it balance all those elements out. I totally acknowledge this shouldn't work, but the film has a feel for when you want an aggressive moment, a funny moment, a heartfelt moment, or even a repeated joke.
Yeah.
So it feels less uneven and more like you're getting...
And if they work, you know, that's the thing.
Which is why so many people watch it around this time of year. It was a huge hit when it came out, it's still enjoyed all over the world, and we're gonna take a look at why. So to all the peeps who know the value of just a good plain cheese pizza, let's take a look at the original Home Alone.
Okay.
The film opens in Chicago because writer John Hughes says I can out-Maine Stephen King, where we see the McAllister family getting ready for a trip to Paris. One child named Kevin, played by Macaulay Culkin, is feeling particularly overlooked.
Uncle Frank
Yep.
won't let me watch the movie. It's not even rated R. He's just being a jerk.
So I've certainly talked about Culkin's acting in films shortly after this, and again, he was the biggest child star in the world. A lot of things were going on in his life. You can't be too harsh on him. Here, though, he really is pitch perfect. Once in a while, he can be a little too cute and hammy, but I think that's intentional to balance out the more aggressive moments. He has a very distinct way of talking that's not too grown up like Fred Savage in The Wizard, but also not too childish like the Olsen twins in Full House. This allows for a world where you feel for this kid, but acknowledge a slapsticky climax can happen. And Culkin finds that middle ground in his performance to help that world feel like it can exist.
This house is so full of people. It makes me sick. When I grow up and get married, I'm living alone.
When he needs to be handy for a laugh.
When he's married,
When
like...
he needs to be emotional for a heavier moment, he can do it. All these years later, I still see this as a good performance.
Yes, it is.
Man, what a family of assholes.
The dog was whining.
Right?
Don't you know how to knock phlegm wad? What am I supposed to
Thank
do?
you, Doug.
Say, congratulations, you're an idiot.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Screw you.
He's certainly gotten a lot of flack for making the family too mean.
That's what I would say. That's what I would say to him in person, you know? Well, in the, like, if he were real, the uncle.
The holidays, and especially going on a trip, they usually are. Everybody's insecurities and stresses are passed downwards, so it's not surprising some people would get ignored. Chris Columbus even said he thought Kevin was a bit of a brat when he first read the script, but after having his own kids, he realized this is kind of par for the course.
Get upstairs. I am upstairs, dummy. I don't want any family. Families suck.
It's a house full of people, yet ironically, there's nowhere to unload your stress because everyone is so stressed out. So it comes out like, I wouldn't let you sleep in my
At least the older sister knows that Buzz can be a handful.
The harshness of Trout Sniffer, but still pretty rough. But he says a genuinely nice thing at the end. It's pretty cool that you didn't burn the place down.
Thanks, Buzz.
And if you've ever had an older bully pain in the ass brother, you know what a big deal that is. They notice their
But
kid
they've
being
gotten
harmless.
along as they got older,
Sidewalks
I
with
assume.
somehow
Doug and
these kids
Rob.
find a way to make scary.
See the garbage can full of salt? That's where he keeps his victims. The salt turns the bodies into mummies.
Okay, there's two movies I want made from this. One, clearly Angels with Filthy Souls. That goes without saying. And the other is this Salt Mummy movie. I don't care if it's another Walking Dead spinoff. Somebody make this happen. Kevin finally has enough of everybody mocking him, so he attacks Buzz, causing absolute chaos.
He pushed his buttons, you know?
I must have seen this movie a million times, and I never noticed Kevin's plane ticket being tossed in the trash. Nobody will question where his ticket was, but they threw that in.
Yeah.
The same way we appreciate.
I was gonna mention that.
Fan theories about how this is the same universe. The explanation is young Pete was put in a mental ward and nobody talks about it. Kevin's mother, played by Catherine O'Hara, has had enough of his outbursts and sends him upstairs right after a supposed cop, played by Joe Pesci, she?
Yep.
Warns her not to trust anyone this time of year, so she and her husband trust him this time of year and tell him all their security details.
Automatic timers for our lights, locks for our doors. That's about as well as anybody can do these days, right?
And yet they're unaware that he's a fake
To
cop.
get the information, or how easy it was to get a cop uniform to get that information. Wait a minute. Bullies? Damn you, convincing spirit Halloween clearance aisle!
You're the only one acting up.
Kevin's told to sleep in the attic as Fuller will join him later.
I don't want a super fella. You know about him. He wets the bed. He'll pee all over me.
And according to this show, when he gets older, he might show me other things I don't want to see down there.
Okay, and you know what? Because I was getting the feeling that there might be a commercial break right at that scene with, you know, the mom telling Kevin to sleep up in the attic and such. Because, here's something else I was going to mention. Well, first off, yeah, I was going to mention that Kevin's passport was thrown in the trash, and thank you, Doug, for pointing that out, because I, too, didn't notice it, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, probably most people would have not noticed it either. But about the scene where, you know, Kevin is telling his mom that, you know, he hopes to wake up and not see anybody in the house, you know that, and what Kevin's mom says in response. I recently read this, that Catherine O'Hara had a hard time saying those lines to Macaulay Culkin. And, well, I mean, of course, they were in character. But to say that to Macaulay Culkin, because, well, you know, Macaulay Culkin being such a sweet kid off-screen and when they were not filming, and if you've read that article, too, because I tell you, like, I don't blame Catherine O'Hara, and Catherine O'Hara, you know, a nice lady, and obviously, you know, was... I mean, you know, like, kind of like acting like a mother at times to Macaulay Culkin. You know what? Not to mention, she did attend to Macaulay Culkin's Walk of Fame ceremony. And yeah, that was nice to see her there. Also, Macaulay Culkin's partner, Brenda Song, of course, being there. Seth Green was there, and I think there were a couple others who Paris Jackson was there too. And a couple others who I can't remember at this moment, but, you know. But again, you know, good for Macaulay Culkin to get a Walk of Fame star, you know? And if the word star is in there, if I'm correct, but, you know. All right, so let's get back to it.
Kevin wishes they'd all disappear, and faster than you can say
Hello, ironic twist.
power goes out and the family leaves without him.
He does a lot of Simpsons jokes. Like, you know.
On American Airlines? Isn't their tagline, hey, at least we're not Spirit? You'd be happier with Spirit.
Mom?
Kevin wakes up to an empty home filled with nothing but advent calendar colors. Seriously, there was a time when not every Christmas movie looked like this. You could argue this production design was eaten back then to fart out Christmas rom-coms now. And he thinks he made his family disappear.
Completely helpless. No, Kevin.
The list of Hallmark Christmas films, I tell ya.
I like his memory of what they said is more exaggerated than how they actually said it. Though not by much.
There are 15 people in this house, and you're the only one who has to make trouble. 15 people in this house. You're the only one who has to make trouble.
Hell, some lines
They had to
are
shoot
said.
them.
Kevin, I'm
Like-
going to feed you to my tarantula.
And you can see why. Even for Buzz, that's a weird insult.
It
So
is.
Kevin decides to enjoy the house all to himself.
No clothes on anybody. Sickening.
They could use some fursuits.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
To make sure he can break a little girl's heart, Chris Columbus actually dressed up a little boy to be Buzz's girlfriend. Though that does raise the question, if anyone found out who this little boy was, how would that have impacted him?
I'm going to
Yeah.
private stop. You better come out.
Poor
and
kid.
call me.
I also like he keeps announcing what he's doing to the family he still thinks might be there. I like this not only because he's almost checking to see if he's really going to get away with all this, but also to see if he can taunt them out. Like there is a small part of him that doesn't want to be without them.
Guys, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish. You better come out and stop me.
He watches violent film noirs, which by God really look like an old film noir. And he rides his sled down the stairs and out the
And he was terrified after watching that. Because he yelled for
From
mom.
the Hollywood set to Chicago, because the way this is lined up, he clearly would not have made it through that door.
No.
Down on one block alone. They all told me from their own mouths.
The cop from earlier is revealed to be a burglar named Harry, and with his partner Marv, played by Daniel Stern, they
Yep.
use the information they got from people to break into their homes, starting with Kevin's.
Which way? Go around back down the basement. Come on.
I give credit that for as silly as this film can get, it can still be a little scary. Kevin doesn't just jump to immediate genius like a lot of knockoff films that followed. He's legit scared like any boy would be. Thankfully, though, the parents realize they left
Kevin!
him alone and they run down...
Thumbnail?
Sure,
I
still
think so.
O'Hare Airport, they're just saying it's France now. And they try calling the cops to have someone check on him as they try to find a flight back.
Has your child ingested any poison and or any other object has become lodged in his throat?
I don't know. I hope not.
Fun fact, this one take of the donut falling on the phone was so funny they had to actually edit around it to make sure it matched the other scenes. That's why it randomly cuts back to that donut falling for seemingly no reason. Again, it must have taken more time than what was needed, but everyone I know gets a big laugh out of that detail.
We'll send a policeman over to your house to check on your son.
It's one of those things in movies where, you know,
There's no one home. I'm the counter kids again.
Sounds like Chicago PD. As Kevin's mother decides to hop from plane to plane, trying to get back as quickly as possible.
I'm not leaving here unless it's on an airplane.
If you want to stay at the airport, maybe we can get you on standby.
Yes.
Seems like this do show the family does legit care. And Catherine
Yeah,
O'Hara,
especially
just
the
like
mother.
Culkin, finds that perfect balance between being funny and genuinely heartfelt.
Somebody pick up.
the uncle's still
Almost
an asshole, you know.
obsessed she becomes with getting back to her son.
If I have to sell my soul to the devil himself, I am going
And John
to give
Candy.
hope to my son.
So much so, she completely overlooks Elvis is behind her. No, that's a theory, man, before whatever the hell we think now. All conspiracy theories used to have Elvis in them.
I wish my hair
That's
was
not
full of
Elvis.
shampoo. When you scream it,
Where did
like
this
this
come
for sure.
from?
We partake in the phase Culkin has sworn he'll never do again.
To quote,
I don't blame him. And he goes to the store where he runs into
I'll
Mark.
say it later.
Calm down, I ate who I killed. Kevin runs away with a toothbrush, beginning probably the most intense chase over dental equipment ever. Again, Chicago PD. But he gets away, running into Marv and Harry, robbing another house. Or rather, they almost run into him with this reverse shot. When you play that backwards, realizing how well they timed it, that is pretty impressive.
Merry Christmas.
He recognizes him.
Puts together Harry was the cop from the night before. Harry sees his reaction and starts following him.
Why's he going faster?
I knew he looked at me weird. Why would he run?
Well, gee, the two guys in a van slowly drove behind you like this. I make sure my running legs still work. He gives them the slip, though, when they think he went into the church, which they don't want to go into due to smoting.
Maybe we're in the church.
I'm not going there.
Me neither. I'm Jewish. I'm Confucianist. Really? I like how he disguises himself in the nativity, almost like even he thought they would follow him into the church. And later that night, he prepares for their return. How far-fetched. Clearly a bozo pool puppet made in seconds is far more believable.
All right, so what I was going to say, and because I didn't know that until Doug brought up the whole thing of Elvis, you know, being in Home Alone, and to quote Maurice from Beauty and the Beast, where did you get an idea like that? Like, it's true. Like, who like in the world would get such an idea like that, thinking that Elvis made an appearance? Like, that is not Elvis. And that whole thing, like, I don't know if it's still going on, but people thinking that Elvis Presley is still alive, oh, please. It's just like how everybody, like, thought that Andy Kaufman was still alive, too. One of those things. Get a grip, people. Not trying to be mean or anything like that. I'm just saying. I think you're just being a bit far-fetched, stuff like that, you know. And it's true, because seriously, you know. Alright, so with the commercial, wait a second, I take it sponsored.
Hello, Douglas.
Yes.
How are you?
Okay. Like, every time, like, always... That's a face right there. Yeah, that's funny, so... What's happening, anyways, like... Okay. Okay, with that done... Back to it.
Kevin orders a pizza, and yes, the statue constantly getting knocked over never bills to anything, but I just love nobody ever tells them it got knocked over. And Kevin uses the movie he watched to make it sound like an adult ordered it.
And he falls for it. Like, he thinks it's real.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Some people make a very
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Isn't that right?
Shall not pass!
I've done other ones that are funny.
Oh, you have?
Your guts fall wet.
Take this stage shooting guy just doing his job. Keep the change for your lifetime of therapy bills. We once again do
Him
the same
dubbing
after
over
show
White
joke.
Christmas. Ah!
Just really wanted a poster, I guess.
Yeah.
And we partake in my personal favorite dialogue of the movie when he goes
It's gonna be tough to figure out what to do for the thumbnail.
Where's your father? He's at work. Your brothers and your sisters. I'm an only child. Where do you live? I can tell you that. Why not? Because you're a stranger.
She was really getting to him.
They're still obsessed with why the house seems filled with people, so one of them sneaks around to have, you guessed it, the exact same joke happen again.
Well,
Okay, all the critics who don't like this movie, to some degree you're right, this technically shouldn't be funny. But I think
But it kind of
Starr's
is.
hilarious reactions and even funnier conversation afterwards just breathes new life into this joke.
and has nobody seen those movies? In Home Alone, like,
He sounded like a snake.
I just love we never figure out who real world Snakes is or how Mark knows him. Clearly that'll be a plot for Home Alone 7.
oh my god.
After Kevin's mother gets stranded at one of the many airports she's been to, a poker player played by John Candy offers her a ride.
I had a few hits a few years ago. That's why, just polka, 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 polka.
He shot all his scenes in a full 24 hours with no sleep, never complained about it, and it probably goes without saying, but just about all of his and O'Hara's lines were made up on the spot. Which I guess makes sense. This is kind of an SCTV reunion.
I'm a Vuji polka, kiss me polka, polka twist.
These are songs.
Yeah.
To this day,
And John Candy was a really good sport, you know?
It's the single funniest thing John Candy has ever improvised.
He was there alone all day with a corpse. Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks.
This had to have been improvised by both of them.
Now that's an Uncle Buck movie I want to see. Marv and Harry eventually put together that Kevin is home alone, and he overhears they're going to come back later that night.
That house is the only reason we started working this block in the first place. Ever since I laid eyes on that house, I wanted it.
You have a very odd white whale. Kevin goes to the authorities to tell him about the crime that's about to take place, or he goes to a fake Santa played by that guy from Herman's Head. Enjoy that unlocked memory.
Still a Christmas this year. I just want my family back.
Hey,
Well, again, since nobody calls the cops in this town, though, would it really make things better? I'll just hop in this car that really did die on set as it was driving off. This movie has the best worst luck, doesn't it? Kevin goes to church because we know there's no robbers in there.
me neither.
And Columbus had a tricky time.
No, they don't want to
doing
mess with
elders. He
the church with a
wanted
church, you know?
nice, but also a little creepy. I think to a lot of kids, church can be a pretty intimidating place, and Columbus wanted that to come across like Kevin is confronting something he's a little afraid of. Which makes sense as he stumbles across Marley, who he, of course, discovers is a really sweet guy.
Merry Christmas.
Prepare to die.
Been here for this year?
I think so.
Swear to it?
No.
He says he's there to see his granddaughter sing because he had a falling out with his son.
And I said I didn't care to see him anymore. He said the same.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken to each other since.
They both give each other advice, and when I was younger, my favorite moments were the zany, slapstick, and funny insults. But now that I'm older, the Marley scenes are by far my favorite.
Yeah.
They take what, let's be honest, would be a perfectly serviceable Christmas comedy and turn it into a Christmas classic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid if I call him, he won't talk to me.
Aren't you a little old to be afraid?
You can be a little old for a lot of things. You're never too old to be afraid.
It's true.
Car that'll scare the shit out of you. After he has a nice talk, the kick-ass John Williams music kicks in.
Yeah, John Williams music.
Composer so
It's
good,
he's John Williams.
Setting up Micro Machines sound epic. And did I say the grocery store scene was the funniest moment? Oh, I actually said it was the John Candy story. Screw it. Harry getting shot in the balls is the funniest thing ever filmed.
Open the door.
The BB gun. Oh, shoot,
Not
shoot,
only
shoot.
is his reaction great, not only
Yes.
is Yosemite Samming swear words fantastic. What?
What happened?
But this sound
It'd have to be, like, straight from Yosemite Sam, like, what he was doing.
That is a wet crackle crunch, and it is what every crunch shot needs to be spectacular.
And it was that close. It was that close to him. Very close to his crotch, like, you know. And I just feel like mentioning this. If any of you guys have seen 2 videos where actual doctors and nurses, they analyze the injuries of the 2 burglars in the 2 Home Alone movies, the first 2 Home Alone movies, oh my gosh. And of course, I think we all should know that no way that in reality that you would survive and be okay from something like this. And in a way, in the Home Alone movies, it's kind of like a cartoon in real life. And that's all I really need to say, so... yeah. And besides, like, that stuff being in live action, especially in the Home Alone movies, can be hilarious. So, alright, back to it.
Again, it probably goes without saying, but these stunts are both very funny and very impressive. I still don't know if the timing of this was dumb luck or if they legit planned it.
It'd have to be luck and so
really
on.
Looks like it hurts, but it never goes too far in taking us out of the comedy. Except one, and you all know what it is.
It takes them a
It's
few...
that commercial with a little toenail goblin and people cringed grabbing their feet so hard.
It takes them a few seconds,
His scream, though, is almost like permission from the movie saying, yeah, as he releases that yell, you can release your laughter.
Marv's scream is hilarious.
For every trap, there's just so damn many, but my favorite after the crotch shot is the scene with the spider.
I think it's every...
Stern had to do in silence so he wouldn't scare the spider, and...
oh.
I'm not gonna lie, that might have worked a little better.
Yeah.
But this lovingly betrayed look
Then he
gives to Marv is some of Pesci's best acting.
He went in and then recorded the scream, obviously.
That is a look of my friend, my confidant of so many years.
But he does...
I refuse to believe you're capable of this. There is more heartbreak in that look than when Padme literally says you're breaking my heart.
Oh my god. But he didn't know that the spider was on him. That's the thing.
From a treehouse?
This is 1990. Only rich people have cell phones.
Don't be so sure, because...
the house of these rich people. He cuts the line and makes his way to the next house where Marv and Harry finally get the drop on him.
First thing I want to do is
Then he shows up.
every one of these little fingers, one at a time.
I think most people know when Pesci said he was going to bite his fingers off, he did accidentally bite Culkin's finger, leaving a scar. At least we think it was an accident. If I just won an Oscar, I had to return to set where a mini...
Of course it was an accident.
I might nip him too. And thankfully, people always discussing that story distracts folks from the less than stellar look-alike for Marley. Did Hyde Pierce do stunt work back then? The cops arrest the burglars, and the next day, Kevin's mother finally returns home.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart.
I think it's important that Kevin should be a little standoffish. It makes the scene feel more real if he needs an apology from her.
Okay, but I'm so sorry.
Thankfully, though, he doesn't need much.
Yep.
I really love how well both these two handle the comedy and emotional moments. When you realize just how little they're on screen together, yet you totally buy their love for each other, that's just straight up good acting.
And at least the mother is not all that
The
bad.
family shows up taking the later flight, and they all give Kevin respect for holding down the fort, even getting errands done.
What else did you do while we were away?
Just hung around.
And the fact that he...
Literally, I hung the corpses of 5 other burglars that tried to get in this weekend.
That's the thing, because he took care of the 2 burglars. He saved the house. And yeah, he's reunited with his son and the rest of the family.
Well, it's my favorite scene too.
No, I don't
Not only
blame
is the
you.
music amazing, the build-up perfectly timed, the camera work wonderfully composed, but Culkin gives my favorite acting of his from anything. That is the most genuine, joyful, loving look that is 100% believable.
Mm-hmm.
It requires no dialogue, just an honest, heartfelt reaction.
Yes.
It's about as perfect a Christmas moment as you can get.
Yep.
Which just makes the follow-up line even funnier.
Yeah.
What did you do to my room? Don't act like I don't know why the Playboys are sticky.
No, because of the
original,
shelves.
A classic, the best, Home Alone. I love it for
Yeah.
the same reasons you love it, but acknowledge for those who don't, it is understandable. It really is lightning in a bottle that can't be replicated no matter how many times they tried.
Yeah.
As I mentioned several times before, it probably should have failed. If you were to describe a lot of...
It seemed like it would have, but nope, it didn't. It was good luck.
I could see it becoming a Christmas classic. But the movie is a very instinctual feel to it. Like, even though it was hitting beats that wouldn't work in other films, it was doing it in a way that felt humorously purposeful. I think a lot of that comes from the amazing cast. I mean, everybody is top-notch in this.
Yes.
Elegant directing, the balanced writing, the beautiful music, and the lack of assumption. Nobody really expected anything big from this when it came out. So I think the fact that so much effort did come across on screen was a welcome surprise. It took the world by storm, and it's not that hard to see why. It's funny, it's touching, it's memorable, and it knows how to represent Christmas without even feeling like it's trying. I've seen it over 1 million times, and I can assure you, I'm gonna see it at least 1 million more.
Yeah, that goes for everybody
I'm
else.
a nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
Yep, and until the next Christmas review, you know. Shoot. You had to play that.
It's cameo for charity,
And
this month we're
the charity shout-out, as always. And once again, Toys for Tots. Well, you know, again, this being the first Nostalgia Critic video for, you know, That's Something Christmas, and for the month of December, and of course, Toys for Tots. So, as of now, and if I hadn't established this already, because, you know, and I clearly had mentioned this in the first reaction video I did today of Something Nostalgia Critic, you know, like the very first Nostalgia Critic video that would come out in the month of December, and the charity shout-out, it would be Toys for Tots. Yeah, so. Okay, well, that was pretty good. A really good review on Home Alone, but more on that in the jump cut. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of Home Alone, the first Home Alone film, of course, and yeah, again, like I said, that was a pretty good review on the first Home Alone film, and, yeah, because what Doug had to say, a lot of positive things to say, which I, expected, and, of course, yeah, said a lot of great things about this, and like, maybe I knew about this, but okay, because as Doug mentioned at one point, there were, I guess, a lot of critics that did not like Home Alone, and the fact that, yeah, there was some things to bicker at, like, well, a joke being done twice, which being the whole thing of keep the change, you filthy animal, and how, you know, it was done on the Crooks, and, you know, with Marv, but I didn't have any problem with it. I think it still worked for it being done twice, but if you're gonna do a joke twice in a movie, like, do it right. That's what's important, and as I've been going on saying at times, it's got to be done right, and in the good way. Yeah. And I had a feeling, because the stuff with the next-door neighbor, you know, the shovel guy, whatever, I forget his name, I'm sorry, but I had a feeling, and sure enough, of course, like, saying a lot of good things about his character, and that sequence in the church where he and Kevin are having a conversation, and, you know, each of them giving advice and so on, and you know what, it's true. You know, even when you get older, you're still going to be afraid of something, you know, and you just don't know until that happens, and sure enough, you know what? It probably wasn't anything to be afraid of. You get what I'm saying? And, you know, I've had those moments too, and I know I'm still going to, and I think, well, pretty much the same goes for anybody who would be afraid of something, but you know what? Maybe that it might turn out to be nothing bad at all, and you're not afraid of it. You're not afraid of what you want to do. Like, you know, you're afraid of something that but then when you do it, like, you know. And yeah, because also what Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had to say about, you know, Kevin's mom. Because, yeah, okay, look, the entire family, like most notably the uncle and Buzzy, they're horrible, of course. But for, like, say, the mom, especially the mom, and the dad, too, they're not all that bad. And especially, like I said, the mom is not all that bad, and especially because the love that her and, you know, her son Kevin have, and so on, yeah. You know, it bugs me that in the next Home Alone film, Home Alone 2, the family goes back to treating Kevin like a piece of crap after what happened in the first movie. You think by now, especially at the end of the first film, that everything is good for the entire family, how they are to Kevin. And maybe the uncle as well, and Buzzy. Nope, they go back to treating him like crap. Oh my gosh. And, you know, the Home Alone sequel, the first Home Alone sequel, which, yeah, I did a review on that as well. In fact, the first two Home Alone films, and if you want to go check those out as well, yeah, I mean, I didn't think the first sequel to Home Alone was that bad, aside from Kevin's parents, okay? With what Kevin does to the crooks this time in New York, like, was still, I think, pretty funny. And Tim Curry's appearance, I mean, it's Tim Curry. What can you expect, And Kevin, once again, using, like, the black and white films, I forget the name of them, but, with that guy, shooting a gun and laughing and, and saying, "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal." Yeah. And Doug only mentioning John Williams once. And yeah, John Williams is John Williams. His music never disappoints, and you know what? He's really good at doing music for something Christmassy. Like, oh my gosh, like, take, for example, the Harry Potter films. Holy crap, how he did the music for Harry Potter when it was Christmas time. Oh my gosh, like, Harry Potter having its own, like, piece of Christmas music. Fantastic. And, as some people would sometimes point out, like, I guess, like, I don't know, like, not, like, I don't know if I can see it, but, like, how John Williams' music in Home Alone would sound a bit similar to Harry Potter. Maybe with, I want to say, sounds like a xylophone. Something like that, like a twinkling sound, like, well, and the fact that, because coincidentally, with the first two Home Alone films and and the first two Harry Potter films, well, Chris Columbus and John Williams, them working together on those films, aside from Harry Potter, well, no, I mean, it does kind of count, but he didn't direct it. I'm of course talking about the third Harry Potter film, The Prisoner of Azkaban. Like, this time, Chris Columbus did not direct that. He produced it. But, still, John Williams doing the music and score for The Prisoner of Azkaban. So, yeah, technically, John and Chris once again working together on another movie. So, yeah. And a lot of positive things that Doug said about Macaulay Culkin and his performance. And yeah, still, to this day, his performance as Kevin in the first Home Alone film is still perfect and fantastic. And Doug did not mention anything about Macaulay Culkin when he got his Walk of Fame star. Well, because obviously this was recorded before that happened. But unless, if, depending on when this was going to be uploaded, like, at the very last second, he would have done an edit, but I don't know. But, of course, this review of Home Alone still turned out pretty good, even without any mentions of, Macaulay Culkin, what happened with him recently, So, yeah. And, yeah, another thing is, as, Doug pointed out, because all the other movies that Macaulay Culkin starred in which, yeah, Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had reviewed. Like, he reviewed The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood, the Richie Rich movie, and, well, of course, all the other Home Alone films. I'm pretty sure he already... Did he? I have to go back and look, but I think he did. He did review Home Alone 2, I'm pretty sure. And one more thing I'd like to mention. John Candy, his appearance in this, yeah, of course, fantastic and all. And what Doug had to say about John Candy's appearance, and oh my gosh, he did not get a wink of sleep for 24 hours, and he had no problem, and he did not complain when it came to filming Home Alone, for his appearance. Wow, and like I said, it shows you that John Candy was a really good sport and a nice and sweet guy, and that's who he was. Yeah. And you know what? Because obviously John Candy and Catherine O'Hara, they have worked together before, and no doubt about it, and it's obvious that they had a really good friendship, and Catherine O'Hara sang some words about John Candy at his funeral, and I think, yeah, because she did broke down when talking about him. Yeah, John Candy was the man, and in those certain films that he appeared in, and the fact that he did do a movie with Macaulay Culkin, as well as a young Gabby Hoffman. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sure some of you would remember what it is, and that was before Home Alone, so I just thought I'd throw that out. And the fact that, well, John Candy had worked with John Hughes a couple of times, like, most notably, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Like, who doesn't love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? I tell ya. And the fact that, Doug, I remember, because he did a top 11 list of top 11 things you never knew in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And now that I mentioned it, and just very quickly, I would love to see Doug more. I would love to see him do more of those. More of the videos where, it's talking about a movie and talking about 11 things that you never knew or spotted in that movie. Because he did one of the first Ninja Turtles movie, Hot Fuzz, Batman, Roger Rabbit, Gremlins, Christmas Vacation, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I don't know, because knowing Doug, maybe he'll do another one at some point. I mean, who really knows, Because it's probably one of those things that he'll probably very occasionally will do. So just saying. But, again, overall, Nostalgia Critic's review of the first Home Alone film, a really good review, because, let's face it, there's only one good Home Alone movie, and that being this, the original slash first one. So, yeah. And what about you guys? What did you think of the video itself? And, if I have no doubt about it that a lot of you enjoy the first Home Alone film, and if some of you have enjoyed some of the sequels. Yeah. And what did you think of my reaction? Leave comments and give this reaction video a like, as always. So with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critics review of Home Alone. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / reaction. Take care, peace out, and happy holidays / Merry Christmas to you all.